Greetings everyone, and welcome to my Sonic issue 279 review. We're actually ending a couple of story arcs this issue. The first one featured Sonic's team going to Shamar to get more Gaia keys, meeting people who idolize them, going to where the Egg Forces are hanging out to rescue the Key Guardian, and conveniently getting into sticky situations just after separating from the Shamar group. Meanwhile, in the second story, Sally had a run-in with Clove, who wanted to avoid a fight. Bunny and Cassia, on the other hand, were fighting for possession of the last Chaos Emerald and fell into some underground tunnels. Bunny helped an injured Cassia, and each one learned why the other became a cyborg. When reaching an opening, Egg soldiers appeared to take Bunny hostage. On Sonic's end, he's holding off the Egg forces for the moment. Antoine gets cornered by the fiery Orbinauts before he effortlessly slices them to pieces. If you think that's a cop-out, remember, Antoine's a much better swordsman in this universe. Heck, he can do this. Anyway, Spike and Trevor return, and Antoine says they need to hurry with the rescue, since the Egg forces are onto them. Now for Big and the Dark Gaia monsters. Looks like we have a struggle here for the Dark Gaia monsters, as Big effortlessly grabs both of them and squeezes them into oblivion. He's just that strong, people. Big returns to Sonar, and she looks surprised to see him. Anyway, they hear trouble ahead. Chip comes up with a very smart plan. Lure the Dark Gaia monsters towards the Egg Army and let the two of them fight it out while they sneak past them. Back to Sonic as he fights Nephthys personally. During the fight, the two get into a debate about the overall Eggman conflict. I'll talk more about it later on, but to sum things up now, Nephthys believes Eggman can't be stopped. You either live under his rule, or die in the fallout of the Sonic-Eggman conflict. Sonic believes in the old, I can take care of Eggman and everyone lives happily ever after philosophy. Back over to Antoine. He's located Ishan, who says that his captors have been treating him well, except for the bad food. You got something to say there, Spike? On cue, the Dark Gaia monsters are engaging the Egg Army, except for the Straggler, which Spike takes out. The rest of the group arrives and breaks Ishan out of the cell before leaving. We're back to the Sonic Nephthys fight again, and Sonic's channeling his inner Scorpion for some reason. Anyway, Chip arrives to tell Sonic the good news, and both leave a cursing Nephthys on the ground. So that's 2 more Gaia keys acquired. Sonic's team says goodbye to Spikes, but not before having another Antoine Big moment, though this time Big probably should have kept his mouth shut. The reason? Well, as soon as Sonic's group leaves, Spike and company head to their home to contact Nephthys. Yep, they're buddy-buddy with the Egg Boss, which would explain the ambushes, their odd behavior at points, and the information regarding the location of the Egg Army. I'll get more into this subject later as well, but as we see here, they didn't want Sonic to mess with the plan they've established. Nephthys hopes to salvage it by trying to soothe Eggman's anger with Key Guardian intel. Speak of the devil, Eggman calls Nephthys to order her to the Death Egg for a special mission, setting up the events of the upcoming Sonic Universe arc, Eggman's Dozen. Moving on to the second story, we find Bunny still a hostage, while the injured Cassia proudly holds the Chaos Emerald. Since Cassia does owe Bunny for helping her earlier, she decides to let Bunny go, but they keep the Emerald. Bunny rightfully points out the world still needs saving, before she attacks using her energy shield to deflect the blasts. Of course Cassia would be jealous of it. Bunny pushes the guards to the ground, grabs the Chaos Emerald, and flies off. And Cassia lets her go, impressed by Bunny's boldness and that she wanted the emerald more. She also tells the soldiers to keep this quiet. Something that can't be quiet is Clove approaching and asking about Cassia's injured leg. Cassia says it's no big deal. Then she passes out. As they help Cassia inside, a soldier says to Clove that Cassia should have been getting better thanks to the treatments. Bunny rendezvous with Sally and both hightail it out of there. On the way out, they both share the revelation that not everyone working for Eggman is a power-hungry psychopath. Some are just desperate and have no choice. The two return to Sky Patrol. Oh, Antoine, you drama queen. Anyway, everything's coming up, Freedom Fighters. They have all the Chaos Emeralds, and they are well on their way to gather all the Gaia Keys. What could possibly go back to Clove. She contacts Dr. Eggman, and she thought when Cassia finishes adapting to the cybernetics, she'll be fine. Well, shock of all shocks, Eggman deceived them. While he admits that the cybernetics restored some functionality, it didn't cure her. And the treatments were not for Cassia to adapt to the cybernetics, but to keep her from degrading further. So yeah, Eggman took advantage of their suffering, treating it as a game. As long as they serve Eggman, Cassia will keep getting treatments. Later, Clove visits Cassia in the ward. They hug, and Cassia apologizes, while also saying once she's done with the treatment, they'll break away from Eggman's stupid empire. Clove, not wanting to reveal the truth, says that they'll be with Eggman a little while longer. Unintentionally, the theme of these two stories is desperation, especially with regards to relations with Eggman. In the case of the first story, we have Nephthys and the Shamar group. Based on their dialogue at the end, they're obviously friends and they wanted to get rid of Sonic's group. Now, I don't think they're evil, but desperate because they talk about this plan. I'm just speculating here, but I think this plan involves intentional stalemating. Let me explain. Eggman comes to the Shamar region to set up shop. Nephthys is selected, or volunteers, to be his egg boss. Her friends Spike, Sonar, and Trevor help her come up with a fake conflict so that Eggman won't bring his full wrath on the area and keep the people of Shamar safe. Sonic showing up threatens this plan, and this relates to Nephthys' rant about Sonic and Eggman causing destruction to people due to the war between them. To be fair, she has a point. For example, the end of Sonic Adventure. Sure, Chaos is stopped and Eggman's plan failed, but Station Square's in ruins. Yeah, Chaos was responsible, but remember it was Eggman that freed Chaos, and that wouldn't have happened if the Mad Doctor still had his original Death Egg, or was in control of something like Little Planet. And who was responsible for Eggman losing those two? Sonic. The latest conflict, the Shattered World, is a result of the botched Chaos Control / Super Genesis wave at the end of Worlds Collide. All because Eggman didn't want Sonic to win. And from a meta point of view, the Sonic-Eggman conflict won't end anytime soon. Even if the comic was cancelled, there are still other media that could show the Sonic-Eggman conflict unless for some reason Sega drops the IP. Back to the issue. The name Nephthys comes from the Egyptian goddess of death, and one of her duties was to protect. Admittedly the deceased, but protect nonetheless. Sonic's old-fashioned. He wants to stop Eggman so everyone benefits. And he does feel responsible for playing a part in shattering the world. Besides that, the story's pretty paint by numbers, with that good idea from Chip, which is why I'm giving this story a 7.5. Perhaps Eggman knowing about the Key Guardians could spice things up a bit. The conclusion to the second story explores desperation in a different manner. As I stated last issue, Cassia has a condition, be it physical defects or a disease, so severe that she needed Eggman's cybernetics. We learn a bit more here, that indeed, for the cybernetics and treatments, the sisters must serve Eggman. And Eggman took advantage of their desperate situation. I've read message board postings stating that post-reboot Eggman is a bit softer. This here is the counterpoint. The sisters are trapped in his service. If they leave it, Cassia dies. I really do hope they find a way out of this. And we'll see Clove again in the upcoming Eggman arc. The good news is, our heroes have all the Chaos Emeralds. The bad news, we're reminded of this abomination on board Sky Patrol, and it's waking up. Oh goody. This story gets a 9 for the fact that there's a certain tragic element to this tale, and that our heroes are learning more about the shades of grey in the Eggman Empire. Coming soon, we'll head back to the old continuity as I look at a very old issue, a prelude to something I've been wanting to do for a while, and also an introduction to a Super Fighting Robots animated series. Until then, have a good day and be safe. Okay, why is the moon in one piece? Adam Bryce Thomas, I'd like a word with you.